Surprise, after endless speculation, we thought we knew what was going to be in this budget and we were in the right postcode, but there's a lot we didn't expect. Let's start with negative gearing and the capital gains tax discount. No surprise to see this has been reined in. It has long been in Labor's sights. And if you want to know why, just look what happened when John Howard made the capital gains tax discount more generous way back in 1999. Rental losses exploded, not because landlords were doing badly, but because all of this could come off your tax bill. And then when you sell up, you could make it all back and then some. Treasury says 1 in every 3 people paid less tax than if they'd never owned a rental. Tonight, the government is declaring time on all of that, literally. If you have a property already, you can keep negative gearing it. But for future purchases, you can't use it to write down your wage income unless you invest in a new build. Any capital gains you've already made, keep the old discount. But for any new gains, the clock starts ticking from next year. And that's true even for homes bought before 1985, which until tonight were not subject to capital gains tax at all. From next July, that changes. A grandparent who's held onto an old home for decades and is now renting it out will start accumulating a tax liability for the first time. All of this means some investors will probably decide to sell up, but that's exactly what Labor wants. They say the policy will create 75,000 new homeowners over a decade, reversing the last decade of ownership decline. But every one of those new homeowners buys from an investor that has been chased out of the market by higher taxes. That's the trade-off at the heart of this policy. Labor could have created more winners if it hadn't grandfathered, but it would have created an equal number of losers. Now, there's even more in this budget that we didn't expect. This does not just apply to properties, it applies to shares as well. But to make up for that, there are new incentives for businesses who take on risk, especially startups. There will also be a 30% minimum tax on discretionary trusts, which Labor is arguing are the preserve of the wealthy, who do get most of the benefit. And some of the money will come back to workers in the form of a permanent tax offset of up to $250, but only for wages, not for investment income. That's the message of this budget. It's a declaration that the tax system is too generous to passive earners and too harsh on wage earners. Will that change? Not entirely, and less so thanks to all of that grandfathering. But this will reshape the tax system. That is, if it survives the fierce debate to come. The starter's gun on that has just been fired.